Everyone talks about becoming rich, but almost nobody explains the boring truth that actually makes people wealthy. Your first $100,000 will not come from motivation, luck, or some magical investment that suddenly explodes overnight. It will come from building a system that turns your income into assets before your lifestyle eats it alive. And here is the part most people do not want to hear. If you cannot build your first $100,000, you will probably struggle with your first million too, because the habits that create $100,000 are the same habits that create serious wealth later. The numbers simply get bigger, the decisions get sharper, and the margin for emotional mistakes gets smaller. So in this video, I am going to give you the 2027 Wealth Blueprint, the practical path I would follow if I was starting from zero, had no rich parents, no inheritance, no lucky crypto bet, and wanted to build my first $100,000 from scratch. Step number 1 is to stop chasing rich and start calculating rich. Most people say they want $100,000, but they have no actual plan for what that means monthly, weekly, or daily. If your goal is $100,000 in 4 years, that is about $25,000 per year, around $2,083 per month, and roughly $69 per day. Suddenly, the goal stops looking like a fantasy and starts looking like a target. But here is the mistake. People think they need to save every dollar of that from their salary alone. That is not the game. The real game is income plus savings rate plus investing plus skill growth. If you only save, progress is slow. If you only earn more but spend everything, progress is fake. If you invest without stable cash flow, one emergency can force you to sell at the worst time. The first rule of the 2027 Blueprint is simple. Every dollar needs a job before it enters your account. Some dollars pay for survival, some dollars buy freedom, some dollars buy future income, and some dollars are not allowed to be touched because they belong to your future self. Step number 2 is to build a wealth gap. The wealth gap is the distance between what you earn and what you spend. If you earn $2,000 and spend $1,950, you are not building wealth. You are walking on a financial tightrope with expensive shoes. But if you earn $2,000 and live on $1,400, you now have a $600 wealth gap, and that gap is where your first $100,000 begins. This is why budgeting is not about being cheap. Budgeting is about buying control. You do not need to remove every coffee, every dinner, every small pleasure from your life, but you do need to remove the invisible leaks. Subscriptions you forgot, impulse purchases, lifestyle upgrades you copied from people who are secretly broke, and emotional spending that gives you a 5-minute dopamine hit and a 5-year delay. If you want this blueprint to work, your first mission is to create at least a 20% savings rate. If you can push it to 30%, you move faster. If you can hit 40% for a season, you become dangerous. Not because saving alone makes you rich, but because it gives you capital and capital gives you options. Now before we go deeper, if you are serious about building your first $100,000, comment blueprint below, because I want you to make this goal public somewhere, even if it is just in the comments, because silent goals are easy to quit, but declared goals create pressure, identity, and accountability. Step number 3 is to increase your income before you obsess over investing. This is where most beginners get distracted. They spend 3 hours comparing ETFs, 4 hours watching stock predictions, and 5 hours searching for the next millionaire coin, while their actual income is still too small to create meaningful momentum. Investing matters, but income is the engine. If you are starting from scratch, your highest return in the first phase is usually not the stock market, it is your skill market. Learning sales, copywriting, video editing, coding, AI automation, bookkeeping, paid ads, financial analysis, or high-value operations can multiply your income faster than waiting for a 7% return on a tiny balance. If you have no money, build a skill. If you have a skill, sell it. If you are already selling it, raise your price. If your price is already fair, improve your offer. If your offer is already strong, increase your distribution. Wealth is not created by one perfect move. It is created by stacking small advantages until your old life cannot compete with your new habits. Here is the practical target. Create your first extra $500 per month outside your main income. Not $10,000. Not passive income while you sleep. Just $500. Because the moment you prove you can create $500, you can study how to make it $1,000, then $2,000, then $5,000. The first side income is not about the money, it is about proving you are not trapped. Step number 4 is to build your financial defense before your financial offense. A lot of people want to invest aggressively while one flat tire, one medical bill, or one late payment can destroy their entire plan. That is not wealth building, that is gambling with better branding. Before you try to look rich, build protection. Start with a small emergency fund of 1 month of expenses. Then pay down toxic high-interest debt. Then build toward 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. This emergency fund is not lazy money, it is confidence money. It stops you from using credit cards when life gets messy. It stops you from selling investments during a panic. It stops one bad month from becoming a bad year. And this is where discipline becomes freedom. When you have no emergency fund, every problem feels personal. When you have cash reserves, the same problem becomes inconvenient, not life-changing. Step number 5 is to invest automatically, consistently, and boringly. The first $100,000 is usually not built by being flashy. It is built by being consistent while everyone else is being emotional. You do not need to predict the market every week. You do not need to copy strangers online. You do not need to panic when prices fall or celebrate like a genius when prices rise. You need a simple investing system that you can follow for years. For most beginners, that means regularly investing into diversified assets, keeping fees low, avoiding emotional trading, and increasing contributions as income grows. The goal is not to look smart today. The goal is to be financially stronger every year. If you invest $500 per month, that is $6,000 per year before growth. If you invest $1,000 per month, that is $12,000 per year before growth. Add skill growth, side income, bonuses, tax refunds, business profits, and disciplined saving, and suddenly $100,000 is not some impossible dream. It becomes a math problem with behavior attached. Step number 6 is to avoid the wealth killers. There are 5 things that quietly destroy the first $100,000. Bad debt, lifestyle inflation, fake gurus, panic selling, and trying to impress broke people. Bad debt steals tomorrow's income. Lifestyle inflation makes every raise disappear. Fake gurus sell urgency because they cannot sell truth. Panic selling turns temporary market drops into permanent losses. And impressing broke people is the most expensive hobby in the world. The 2027 wealth builder must be different. You need to become comfortable being underestimated. Drive the normal car. Wear the normal clothes. Keep the old phone longer. Live below your income while your bank account grows quietly. The goal is not to look wealthy in front of people who are not paying your bills. The goal is to become free enough that your money starts making decisions easier. Step number 7 is to track your net worth every month. What gets measured gets improved, and what gets ignored usually gets expensive. Once a month, write down what you own, what you owe, and your total net worth. At first, the number may be small. It may even be negative. That is fine. The purpose is not to judge yourself. The purpose is to wake yourself up. When you track your net worth, you stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like an owner. You begin asking better questions. Did my assets grow? Did my debt shrink? Did my spending match my goals? Did my income increase? Did I buy things that made me better? Or did I buy things that made me feel better for one evening? This monthly review becomes your financial scoreboard, and once you see progress, motivation becomes easier because you are no longer guessing. You are watching proof. Step number 8 is to make $100,000 your foundation, not your finish line. The biggest danger after you reach your first $100,000 is thinking you made it. You did not make it, you earned your first real base. That first $100,000 is powerful because it changes your psychology. You stop feeling like wealth is something other people are allowed to have. You start understanding that money grows when systems are repeated. From there, the next question becomes, how do I protect it, grow it, and use it to buy more income, more assets, more peace, and more control over my time? Because the real flex is not a watch, a car, or a vacation photo. The real flex is waking up and knowing you are not one missed paycheck away from panic. The real flex is having options. The real flex is being able to say no to bad opportunities because you are not financially desperate. So here is your 2027 wealth blueprint in one line. Earn more than you need, spend less than you want, invest before you feel ready, protect yourself from emergencies, track your progress, and repeat the process long enough for the results to become undeniable. And remember this, your first $100,000 is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built in the quiet moments when nobody is watching, when you choose the transfer over the impulse buy, the skill over the excuse, the investment over the flex, and the plan over the panic. If this video helped you, subscribe now, because on this channel we do not just talk about money, we build systems for it. Comment 100K if this is the year you start taking your financial life seriously, and watch the next video because I am going to show you how to turn your first $100,000 into your first million with the exact habits that separate people who stay stuck from people who build real wealth.